There's a lot to talk about after the surprisingly eventful race at Texas, which led to penalties for multiple drivers. First up is a double dip of a penalty for two drivers. Both Zaylon Foster and Ashton Russell were fined $2,500 for causing an incident in the pit lane under caution. Russell was also put on probation, and his crew chief was suspended for this race for an unsafe pit release. Joey Davidson was given a $5,000 fine for basically dumping the 7T Scorpio and causing a massive wreck during the race. Jordan Kosovo was given a suspended ban due to intentionally wrecking the 54 Jackson Maitland. What this basically is that a suspended ban is a probation, but should Kosovo cause another intentional accident, he will be suspended without appeal. And finally, we come to the 22 of Jose Rodriguez. Surprisingly, he wasn't given a suspension due to his antics and being a moving chicane on track, but he did get a suspended ban and a $5,000 fine. Rodriguez disagreed with the ruling, but series officials shot him down and said that their decision was final. If there's anything about series officials in this series, and especially lead official Danny Pushrod III, don't try to fight back against his decisions. Trust me, you do not want to piss him off even more than he already is. Now onto today's race here in Bristol. We're running a small field due to limited pit road space, so only 41 cars will start instead of the usual 42. This is the only race this season that this situation will take place. With all the news items out of the way, let's head to trackside for the race. John Baldy Jr. and Ashton Russell lead the field down to the green flag. Baldy Jr. gets a great run off the line, and he's already cleared Ashton Russell going into turn 2. Him and the 50 car got a big gap on the rest of the field already. Last week after the Texas on the post-race show, I mentioned that John Baldy Jr. had finished 25th in the race after being held up by Jose Rodriguez in the 22. Well, it turns out I was completely wrong. He actually finished 21st, only 4-spot difference. And I was made pretty aware of that because John Baldy Jr. himself came up to me after the race and threatened to, let's just say, beat the crap out of me because I, said his result wrong. So here you go, John. I'm fixing my error from last week. I admit I did screw up, but you don't have to beat me up for it. Yeah, Jesus, at least he actually did beat me up. Dream Abdul Sagar and his team celebrated pretty hard after they won the race at Texas last time out. And they must have been hungover coming into this weekend because in practice they were slow when it came to qualifying. He qualified 30th. So Dream's got a lot of work to do if he wants to stay near the top of the points table. He's second in points coming into this race, and in this shot, he's currently running 40th, which is second to last. And to our weekly independent showcase, this is Barrett Cervantes making his first start of the season since Daytona. He's currently running towards the back half of the field, along with that brown 21 car. That is Sincere Fox, the only Native American in the Rejectcar Elite Series. Both of them are doing pretty terrible right now. They're both running behind. Let's see, Cervantes is currently 36th, and I think Sincere Fox just fell back all the way to dead last, 41st. There are only 2 independents in the race today due to our short field, so yeah, Fox and Cervantes want some decent independent points. They're going to need to get on it and get to the front quickly, because you never know when crashes start coming out and you could be involved. Points leader Alex Constantine is now running in the midfield. He's looking to build more of a gap in the points table after he's had 2 straight top 5 finishes. Now, in the season preview before the season started, I said that Constantine wouldn't be as competitive and that his teammate Jacob Lauren would blow him out of the water. So far, 3 races in, and I've been completely wrong. Constantine has been outperforming Lauren by a wide margin, and Constantine's made every race to this point while Lauren failed to qualify for Daytona. So maybe my prediction is going to be horrendously wrong, which isn't too big of a surprise. I'm usually never right on anything, but hey, predictions are predictions. Right now, Constantine is going backwards. He started 19th, and now he's outside the top 20 in danger of going outside the top 25. He's now stuck in a rough situation with Jose Rodriguez and Bryce Fencing before they got that settled. Close call here for Mosquito as he nearly gets turned by the 47 of Ruben Burns. Mosquito is making his first start of the season in the Shortcut Racing number 6 car. He attempted Daytona but didn't qualify. The only reason Mosquito's in this race is we were only going to have 40 cars, but we needed a 41st, so any part-time team can enter, and Shortcut Racing was the first one to enter, and so here is number 6 of Mosquito, and he's currently running 25th. The first caution of the day would come out on lap 15. Jay Baldy gets into the 54 of Jackson Maitland, knocks him to the 86 of Dream Abdul-Sagar, and then Maitland turns the 86 hard into the outside wall. This would end the day for Dream, and a really rough day as he was second in points coming in. The race would restart on lap 22, and under that caution we had a lot of cars stay out on the racetrack and a lot of cars come into pit road. So you get this jumbled mess of a restart where there's cars on the tail end of the lead lap and starting in front of the leader, John Baldy Jr. in the 48. It has turned into a mess as John Baldy Jr. is trying to either put some of these cars a lap down, and some of these cars on the inside are trying to get back on the lead lap. Valor Christian goes for a slide off turn 4. Baldy Jr. is holding off Ashton Russell in the 50. He's currently running in second. Christensen and Eric Hawkinson are now past the 48 to get back on the lead lap, or at least stay in front on the lead lap. Ashton Russell is now past the 48 to finally take the lead away from the 48, as John Baldy Jr. is just trying to find a way to go. As I see a couple cars smack the wall coming off 2, I think Kelvin Stevenson and Jacob Lauren. Yeah, this is just an absolute mess on the racetrack, but thankfully they haven't caused a wreck yet. Ronnie Hawkins running a lap down gets tagged in the back by the 94 Maxwell Throwan and gets sent into the inside wall. Hawkins comes screaming back up the racetrack and basically takes a swipe at the 94, saying, "Hey, I didn't appreciate that too much." The officials gave Hawkins a warning for that and told him not to do that again. That just kind of happens when 2 lap cars go. Wait, the 48 of John Baldy Jr. is around! He was running in second place. On the exit 2, washed up into Jackson Maitland and pretty much spun himself around. Well, the day just went south for John Baldy Jr., lost the lead on the restart, and now he's involved in a wreck. Oh boy, he ain't gonna be too happy about that one. Ashton Russell leads the field back down to the green on lap 33 and gets a massive jump on the restart. Cooper Key in the 61, who was restarted in second, he was sleeping on the restart. And Russell's already cleared pretty much the rest of the field. He's just got nothing but lap cars behind him. The 71, the 21, and the 83 are all lapped down. So Russell definitely has the advantage with having the lap cars between him and the second place car, as the caution has come out once again. Last season's champion Gustavo Silva Rodriguez is going to run into a little bit of annoyance here, courtesy of Jose Rodriguez, no relation there. Rodriguez turns the 20 of Gustavo Silva Rodriguez into the inside wall. Thankfully the 20 car slows down before he comes screaming back up in front of traffic. And the day gone bad already for the 20 car, as you see more smoke up ahead and the caution's out once again. Dale Taylor hooks the back of the 0 car of Stephen Bennett. Stephen Bennett comes up the racetrack, gets hit by his teammate Cooper Key in the 61 and almost goes over. Kevin Flagrant's involved, so is the 47 of Ruben Burns, as other cars slow down to try to avoid the 0. As you can see, more cars are involved further up the track. Here we're focused on the 22 of Jose Rodriguez. Caution's out, looking the way to go. Goes to the apron, hits the 53, and gets flipped onto his roof by the 57 of Bryce Fencing. Rodriguez goes for several barrel rolls, and then gets hit by the 18 of Eric Hawkinson. That wreck went on a little longer than it should have, at least for the 22. The day would also be over for the 63 of Kelvin Stevenson, who lost his engine under the yellow. Tough break for Stevenson, who was actually running inside the top 20 before that. Ashton Russell would lead the field back to green on lap number 40 as he catches Clay Marcellus sleeping on the restart. Russell has now pulled a big gap here, and I see more contact in the back. Oh boy, here we go. Daisuke Hiroshima, who restarted in 4th, gets tagged by the 14 of Keon Parker, takes the 30 in the 06 of Dustin Harris, and they come back up across the racetrack and cause a massive, massive traffic jam. At least 10 cars involved in this wreck. Ronnie Hawkins becomes a ping pong ball for somebody else. This time it's the 15 of Jake Blondie, who turns him into the inside wall and spins him out. Hawkins would continue on despite having a pretty banged up car. And now we go on board with the 48 of John Baldy Jr. Sees the mess up in front of him, tries to find a hole, and the 15 of Jake Blondie appears right in front of him. And John Baldy Jr. with nowhere to go plows into the back of him. This wreck would take out Dustin Harris, Ruben Burns, Daisuke Hiroshima, Jake Blondie, John Baldy Jr., and Garrett Banks. Meanwhile, Ashton Russell continued leads on the restart on lap 46. However, he's got pressure from the 82 of Kareem Abdul-Najjar, who's going to dispatch him pretty handily despite having lap cars in front of him. However, there was an incident right off the restart. Russ Palmer, running 13, gets hit by the 20 of Gustavo Silva Rodriguez and goes into the inside wall. Thankfully, no other cars were involved, but definitely something Russ Palmer didn't need, just getting dumped by a lap car like that. And the officials would investigate as Palmer dives into the pits to fix the damage. Back up front with the leader, Kareem Abdul-Najjar in the 82. He is the cousin of Dream Abdul-Sagar. Dream is French, Kareem is Nigerian. And Cream is making a good rebound after he failed to qualify for Daytona. He finished 9th in California, but got wrecked out at Texas in the big one. But he's carrying the flag for the Cigars in Paris LLC team and is looking like the front runner to possibly win the race today. Checking back in with Russ Palmer after the team removed the hood from the car, and there's a wreck in front of him, and he gets collected after he runs into the back of the 94 Max Throwing. And here's what happens to the 94. Runs up the racetrack and pins Mosquito into the wall and sends him spinning, collecting Russ Palmer, Ronnie Hawkins, Joe Vivic, Bryce Fencing, and Matteo Valentino in the 2 got a small piece of it. The race would restart on lap 58 with Kareem Abdul-Najjar still the leader, Ashton Russell still in 2nd, and Jacob Lauren has moved up to 3rd after running quietly in the top 15. Derek Lewis in the 05 not giving the 82 any space as they come down the back straightaway. And Lewis is going to get past the 82 as the caution is out once again, and Lewis will get back on the lead lap. Oh, Kareem just hit the wall. Hopefully that doesn't hurt his car too much. And here's why we're under caution. Mosquito in the 6 gets turned around by Francesco Valentino on the 4, gets hit by the 38 of Dong Hoi, Who's Your Daddy, and the 21 of Sincere Fox. Mosquito will still continue on despite all that damage. The race restarted on lap 64 with Keon Parker as the leader. Just before the last caution came out when Kareem hit the wall coming off turn 4, Parker was able to get under him and just nip him at the line, and hopefully that right side damage doesn't slow down the 82 as Parker is starting to drive away. Keon Parker won Daytona and Bathurst last season and has made pretty good progress this season despite the little hiccup of not qualifying for Daytona to start the season. However, there was an incident right after the restart. Zaylen Foster in 83 gets turned around by the 94 Max Throwing coming off turn 2. Despite hitting the wall, the caution does not come out. Foster would continue on, and the officials warned the 94 to throw in for causing another incident. However, while Foster's spinning didn't bring out the yellow, there was a debris caution right after it, so the caution should have came out anyway. Keon Parker leads on the restart with Kareem in 2nd, but Parker is showing that muscle and that dodge as he's pulling away from the 82 once again, and is making life pretty difficult for Kareem to get his first career win as the caution's out once again. The 8th caution of the race would come out on lap 72. Ashton Russell tags the back of the 73 of Zeke Miller and causes another multi-car wreck into turn 3. Tavion Cobb on the 40 rides the wall, and the 6 of Mosquito goes over. Here's a better look at what happened to the 6 of Mosquito. Trouble starts up in front of him, tries to find a way to go, hits the 21 in the rear, and gets jacked up and flipped over by the 83 of Zaylen Foster. And after all that, the car number 6 would finally be done for the day. And here's a better look what happened to the 40 of Tavion Cobb. Just turned into a wall rider after the 73 of Zeke Miller pinched him up into the wall, and you see the 6 going over again. Everybody would continue on except for the 6 of Mosquito. The race restarted on lap 78. Keon Parker still remains the leader with Kareem Abdul-Najjar in 2nd, and Joey Davidson has moved up to 3rd in the number 44. Parker gets a great jump on the restart and is going to leave the 82 of Kareem Abdul-Najjar to fight with the 54 of Jackson Maitland, who's the first car one lap down. Yeah, with the 54's interference, Parker's starting to pull away from the 82. As long as the 54 stays in front of the 82, Parker should have clear sailing to a victory. Yeah, the 54 has become a kind of a roadblock for the 82. However, here at Bristol, you shouldn't expect the green flag to stay out very long, as the 9th caution today will come out on lap 79. Jay Baudy gets hooked by the 11 of Barrett Cervantes and causes another multiple car pileup going into turn 1 this time. Bryce Fencing is involved, and I think I saw the 2 of Matteo Valentino also collected. Here's a better look what happened to the 2 of Matteo Valentino. The 57 of Bryce Fencing just hooked him hard into the inside wall, and then that's what basically caused this little domino effect going into turn 1. All drivers continued on somehow as the 50 at Ashton Russell just hit the wall for no reason. Race restarted on lap 86 with Keon Parker still the leader and Kareem Abdul-Najjar still in 2nd. Francesco Valentino moved his way up to 3rd, however he was sleeping on the restart and has fallen way back and just let the top 2 get away from him. The 82 of Kareem Abdul-Najjar looking like he's got more momentum than the 14, though handling seems to be going away on the 14 to Keon Parker because the 82 is staying within his tire tracks. But Parker's holding his own right now, looking to keep the distance between him and the 82. The 10th and thankfully final caution of the race will come out on lap 87. Jordan Kosovo gets hooked in the rear by the 76 of Alex Constantine and sends the 71 and the 20 of Gustavo Silva Rodriguez spinning toward the inside wall. Both cars will continue on, however you see the 83 of Zaylen Foster turned around. And here's what happened to the 83. The 71 and 20 get spun across his bumper, and then he pulls up right in front of the 40 of Tavion Cobb and takes Ashton Russell into the wall. Also, all cars would continue on. The race restarted on lap 93, so that means lap cars do not restart to the inside of the leaders, as Keon Parker still the leader with Kareem Abdul-Najjar in second. However, the 82 is going to get a run off going off turn 2 as Parker had to slide up the racetrack. And there goes Kareem Abdul-Najjar to the lead, passing the 14, finally dispatching him from the lead after chasing him down for it seems like the last 20 laps. And here comes the 44, Joey Davidson, now up to third, and the 95 of Valor Christensen, who's running in fourth. Parker's going to try to get back at the 82 and try to get the lead back from him. But Kareem is trying to hold on here and try to go for his first career victory in the series. As Kareem crosses the line to come to 2 laps to go, he's got a decent sized gap over the 14 to Keon Parker. Parker slides up the racetrack and he hits the wall off 2. That completely kills his momentum as the 44 Joey Davidson gets by him. I think the 95 of Valor Christensen also passed the 14. And the white flag is out for Kareem Abdul-Najjar. He has 1 lap car in front of him. That is the 80 of Jacob Lauren. I don't think he's going to try to pass the 80 car. I think he's just going to hang behind him and just kind of cruise along here. And he will do just that. Coming off turn 4, Kareem Abdul-Najjar wins the race here at the Bristol Motor Speedway for his first career Rejectcar Elite Series victory. And here are the results. Kareem Abdul-Najjar scores his first career Rejectcar Elite Series victory. And this is also the second win in a row for the Cigars in Paris LSC team. Little irony to this, Kareem's cousin Jareem, who won Texas last week, finished dead last in this race. So take that as what you will. Joey Davidson finishes runner-up, running a much cleaner race than he did at Texas last week. Valor Christensen, for the second time this season, finishes in 3rd place. Keon Parker managed to hold on to 4th place after hitting the wall running down the 82. Dale Tager, a surprise top 5 for the Southern State Racing team. Francesco Valentino finishes 6th in a mostly quiet run for him. Barrett Cervantes in a surprising 7th. He started out poorly, starting towards the rear of the field, but he managed to pick through the field and get a top 10 out of it. Tavion Cobb, despite riding the wall, finishes 8th. Just show you his tenacity to finish a race. Alex Constantine finishes in 9th for the Constantine Motorsports team. And rounding out the top 10 for the second week in a row, Jordan Kosovo in the European Domination 71. And here's 11th through 20th. Ashton Russell finishes 11th, a great rebound after his last place finish at Texas last week. Russell's teammate Gustavo Silva Rodriguez, despite being kind of a ping pong ball today, finishes in 12th. Max Throwen finishes 13th, even though he was involved in a couple incidents. Zaylen Foster finishes in 14th, he also was involved in a couple incidents. And 15th is Ronnie Hawkins, despite being the main ping pong ball for everybody, still got a top 15 out of it. Would have his head checked to see if his head's rattled. Jacob Lauren finishes 16th, he kind of fell off towards the end of the race. Mateo Valentino comes home 17th, Jackson Malin 18th, Bryce Fencing in 19th, and rounding out the top 20 is Russ Palmer for the Black Flag Motorsports team. And here are the point standings after 4 of 25 races. Alex Constantine is still the points leader, but now only holds a 14-point gap over Valor Christensen. Joey Davidson moves out 12 spots to 3rd place after his runner-up finish. Keon Parker, despite finishing in 4th, who should have won the race, still moved up 12 spots, he's now 4th in points. Kareem Abdul-Najjar, after his victory, jumps up 18 spots and now he's in 5th. He's tied for 5th with Gustavo Silva Rodriguez. Jacob Lauren moves up to 7th. John Baldy Jr. finished 31st, so that dropped him 4 spots to 8th in points. He's actually tied with Jordan Kosovo in the 71 car, the highest Olympica in the points table, so Kosovo's given the underpowered Javelin a really good run so far in this season. And rounding out the top 10, Russ Palmer for the Black Flag Motorsports team, after his 20th place finish, moves up 2 spots to 10th in points. And here's 11th through 20th. Dream Abdul Sagar, after his last place finish, falls down 9 spots to 11th in points, tied with Francesco Valentino. Bryce Fencing moves up 1 spot to 13th in points. Zeke Miller falls to 14th. Dustin Harris falls to 15th. And Dale Tager's up to 16th. Miller, Harris, and Tager all tied for 14th. Stephen Bennett falls to 17th in points after he was 3rd in points coming into this race. Tommy Salami wasn't entered in this race, and his next scheduled start isn't until, I think, Orlando later in the season, so he's going to keep falling down the order here, but he's also running for the Independence Trophy, so that's not too surprising. Clay Marcel still holds in the top 20. He fell down to 19th in points. And Kevin Flagrant falls all the way down to 20th in points, despite being in the top 10 in points coming into this race. And here are the independent standings. Not much to talk about here. Only 2 independents were in the race today, the 11 of Barrett Cervantes and the 21 of Sincere Fox. Cervantes moves from 10th to 3rd in the standings. He is now have 45 points out of 2 races he's ran so far. And Sincere Fox is 9th in points. He's actually tied for 8th with Rafael Smolzanovic with 17 points. Just for clarity's sakes, independent drivers can only run 5 races for the Independence Trophy. That is their max. So you're going to see most of these guys throughout most of the season. Like I said, we're still missing 6. 6 have yet to make a start. As for the other guys, well, they're going to have to just show up here and there throughout the races during the season and fill up their 5 race, requirement for the Independence Trophy. But Tommy Salami is still the points leader. No one has surpassed him just yet. From one short track to another, the Rejectcar Elite Series heads up north to Southern Illinois to race at the famous Grand Detour Raceway, another track that is particularly known for major crash fests. And ironically, this is our last short track race of the season. How the hell they screw that up in the schedule? Anyway, this has been Jim Floormat for the Reject Sports Network. See you then!